The following is a non-profit fandub of Andromeda Six, which is owned by Wanderlust Games. Please support the official game, linked in the description below.
Far from the sun, beyond stars, I hear their song. They're coming closer, talking without sound, calling me home. Calling out Mayday. Calling out Mayday. Save me. I'm running out of air. I'm running out.
Your Highness. Nico.
What is happening?
Your Highness.
Vex! He smiles when I turn, and something in my stomach feels lighter. It's been a year since we first met. A year, and 1 day, and 22 hours to be precise. But who's counting? And still, I remember that day like it was only yesterday.
All ready for the masquerade?
With a small nod, I gestured to my outfit, silently gauging his reaction. I'd had one of the servants pick it out for me earlier. A young human who seemed to know a thing or two about the latest fashion. Vex nods in approval as he takes in my appearance, and I turn a little to let him get a glimpse of the entire thing. It isn't often I have an excuse to wear anything so fine. Being the youngest of the Pegasi children, I'm often confined to one section of the palace and never invited to any of the royal functions, save the odd wedding or funeral. My gaze settles on him, nerves getting the best of me now that we're ready to leave, though he only smiles at me reassuringly. He's the only person who smiles at me in this place, the only one who even cares about my happiness, except for... Do you really think this is a good idea? What if someone recognizes me? One corner of his mouth tilts into that knowing smirk that I've come to look forward to every day, the one that makes it seem like he has a secret. Something he wouldn't tell anyone but me.
That's what the mask is for.
Taking the lacquered mask from my hands, he steps slowly behind me, positioning it in front of my eyes and tying it by the ribbon behind my head. I bite down on my lip, dread worming its way to my bones. He has as much to lose if we get caught as I do. Perhaps even more. My hands shake at my sides, and Vex puts a reassuring hand on my shoulder to keep me still.
We snuck out of the palace yesterday and into the city to visit that cafe you love so much. And still, you're afraid of a little masquerade ball.
I tilt my head slightly to make a face at him, wrinkling my nose to show that it's hardly the same thing. Yes, the city. Not right under my parents' noses for all to see. It's then that Vex steps in front of me, his fox-like face and sharp eyes facing me head-on, and a soft smile gracing his lips.
Nothing bad will happen to you, Nico. I promise.
I step forward and place a soft kiss on his cheek, feeling the smile that lifts the corner of his lips. I trust you to keep me safe, Vex? When I whisper in his ear, he hums his approval, stopping me with a hand on my waist before I can pull back again.
And how do you know you're safe from me?
Heat floods my cheeks and my pulse spikes. I have to admit to myself that I like the way he's looking at me. Like a fox stalking its next meal. He reaches out to smooth a wrinkle on my outfit, his fingers so gentle when he touches me.
I'll be by your side the entire time.
I know he's telling the truth, and I trust him so much that the nerves start to settle, and I manage a small smile of my own. As a member of the Royal Guard, Vex Seraph has sworn to protect my life against any danger that may befall me. But there's more than that. He isn't just a guard. He's my friend. My only friend. When he holds his arm out, I take it with renewed confidence, letting him lead me towards the secret passage off to the side. This passage comes out on the other side of the palace, just beside the large oil painting of my grandfather in the entrance to the library. There are many passages like this, and Vex and I have explored them all. I know I should feel guilty about this, disobeying a direct order from my parents to keep to the confines of the palace's south wing, and instead running wild and unseen through the very depths of the place. And with a member of the Royal Guard, no less.
We're almost there.
Vex squeezes my arm gently as we navigate through the dim passageway, and I can tell that he's excited, which calms me somehow. We step out from the hole in the wall, taking care to remain unseen, and prepare ourselves for the masquerade that awaits us.
Nico.
The memory ends suddenly, cut short by the sound of my name, spoken by a familiar voice. A voice from my past. Vex? My head feels heavy, and I raise a hand to my scalp, pushing against the throb that settled beneath my skull. I remember a little. Bits and pieces become clearer the more I think about it, though there's only one thing I know for sure. Vex is here, and I remember him.
Nico, Your Highness, what are you doing here?
The question stuns me for a moment, taking me off guard as memory after memory of the man in front of me rushed to the surface of my mind, piecing together like a glass unbroken. Some memories remain blurred, mere fragments needing a little more time to come into focus. But others swim to the surface, desperate for air while they leave me breathless, struggling to stay afloat. You left me! Emotions hit me one after the other, relentless in their assault. Fear, confusion, anger. Vex! How could you? I meet the eyes of my old friend, expecting to find the kind, emerald green gaze I had grown used to. But instead, I see nothing. Nothing but anger, bitterness, and spite. Dread snakes through my veins. Something is wrong. Something is different. And I can't quite figure out what.
I thought you were dead. You were supposed to be.
Vex stops, the muscles feathering in his jaw as it tightens and he sets his unfeeling gaze on me.
How did you escape?
Escape? He thinks I escaped the attack on the palace. I remember now what truly happened. I remember my brother's wedding. How we were all at the palace that night, the perfect time for an enemy to strike. I left the reception early, planning on leaving the city to search for Vex. And now here he is, standing right in front of me. So much has happened since I last saw you. I was rescued by a crew of mercenaries. After being injured on Goldus, my memory of it was gone. Until now. Seeing you seems to have sparked something in my mind.
You remembered because of me?
I nod, finding it increasingly difficult to meet those cold, cold eyes of his, the ones that were once filled with such warmth.
What else do you remember?
I remember we were inseparable. My throat tightens and I know what I have to say. I have to tell him the truth, even if it is too late. You looked at me in a way that no one else ever had, and I liked the way that made me feel. He takes a step closer, hand raised as he brushes a knuckle over the side of my face so gently.
How did it make you feel?
Like I was yours, and you were mine. Like nothing could stop us from living the life we dreamed of, from exploring all the places we said we would. His mouth twitches, as if holding himself back from something he wants to say. I remember what happened that day. The day of the attack. You left. Weeks went by and no one would tell me why or where you'd gone. My chest caves at the memories of being told to sit up, shut up, and do my duty. All while my only friend in the whole world was gone. I ran away. I was desperate for answers. I came looking for you, though I didn't make it very far before. On the last word, my voice cracks, and I will the tears that threaten to spill to stay where they are. Why did you leave? Vex stares me down, his eyes cold and unflinching, and I don't understand any of it.
I wasn't your friend, and I didn't care about you. Not even when they told me they were storming the palace and exterminating the royal line.
You... What?
I was using you, Nico.
He laughs, but it's a bitter sound, devoid of any warmth.
Oh, you were so naive. You had no idea. All you wanted was a friend.
I don't believe you. We were friends.
You would think that, wouldn't you? You spoiled little brat. What would you have me tell you, Your Highness? Do you want me to say I missed you? That I thought of you every day and wondered if you'd ever get to see those places we talked about? Wondered if someone better would take you there? I didn't. I didn't miss you. I didn't think of you, even for a second.
My hand whips across the side of his face, the resounding slap echoing through the alley around us. Vex barely moves for a good few moments. Barely even flinches. Then he lunges forward and grabs me by the wrist, pulling me towards him as he hisses at me.
Try that again, and see how far it gets you.
I struggle to free myself from his grasp, pulling against him, but it's no use. Vex, stop! You're hurting me! He stares me down, and I'm desperate to know what's going through that mind of his. But when he finally lets me go, all I can do is glare at him darkly. Something shatters inside me. Some remnant of the past that had rushed back to the surface, only to crumble like dust in my hands.
All those times we would sneak out of the palace just to get away. The passages you showed me. That was exactly what I needed to know. And when I took that information to Zovak, he knew exactly where and how to strike.
No! It can't be true. If it is, that means it's my fault.
If you know what's good for you, you'll stay far away from the Andromeda Six and her crew. They know too much. Far too much, and they'll be dealt with soon enough. Forget who you were, Nico. That person doesn't exist anymore. If you're lucky, you'll never see me again.
He turns to leave, stopping for the briefest of moments to say from over his shoulder,
I'm not sorry for what happened. but I am sorry for Nerissa. She might have made a good queen, but we couldn't wait long enough to find out.